Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me to address this historic Labour Party conference. Often when you go abroad, you're on your own, you leave your family at home. This is certainly not the case for me today. When I arrived, I had a big hug from three people who I'm so proud to call close family. The best in-laws in the world, Neil, Glenys and Rachel Kinnock. Dear Neil and Glenys, you two together are one of the reasons why I stand here today. Your devotion to Labour, public service and hard work, it has been a great inspiration in my life, as I know it has been to many others. Thank you so much. I have known and I have loved the Labour Party for so many years. I'm one of those people who still remember where I was the 1st of May 1997, and trust me, it was a wild party night. I have been inspired by the Labour Party through all those years in government. I have followed you so closely, sometimes perhaps too closely. And I do feel that I can safely say that I feel like I'm a member of the Labour family. And I know you all as strong-minded people, each of you deeply, deeply committed to the well-being of the Labour Party. And I know also the Labour Party conference. This is a conference where you meet people of integrity and diversity. You meet people from all parts of this magnificent and strong nation, and from all paths of British life. And why? Why is because the Labour Party has always been and will always be a party for all people. And guess who I met yesterday? I met the next Prime Minister of Great Britain. Dear Ed, congratulations. You have my full support, and I bring you the highest regard from the Danish Social Democratic Party. I know you as a person of strong convictions and strong vision, a man of tremendous capacity, and as a leader with boundless commitment and deep compassion. The road ahead of you, as you will be discovering, will be long, the stakes high, and with many, many different voices to give you advice, wanted or not. And it is not for me to join in that queue of people to want to give you advice. But I hope that my story might be of some use to you. 5 years ago, I was elected leader in a tough leadership contest in my own party. For a while, it split the party into two. I was up against a formidable candidate who is now my close ally and close friend. And I want to say this to you. We healed the party, and it wasn't as difficult as it might seem now. And we healed the party because we were united in our love and our commitment to the party. Just days ago, in this hall, people were campaigning for 5 different candidates. Now one has emerged as your leader, and all should support him, because Labour United should never be defeated. If you stick together, if you fight together, you will succeed together. And one thing we can all agree on: Britain needs you to win, and Europe needs you to win. Because never has the need been greater for progressive values, deriving progressive politics and policies that meet the economic and social needs of our time. Dear Ed, we need you to win. We need Labour to once again show that the most powerful force in history of man is the might from people to be united, to turn injustice to justice, to turn inequality to equality. We need you to once again show that progress and prosperity for all can only happen when we make it happen. And that is what Labour, and that is what social democracy is all about. To make things happen, to make change a force for progress for all, to build a strong society for all. What Labour has achieved during these last 13 years is monumental. Here in Britain alone, you created millions of new jobs. You put safety in the streets, 17,000 new police officers, 90,000 new nurses, the shortening waiting times in the NHS since records began, and 500,000 children lifted out of poverty, 42,000 new teachers. Dear Labour, these achievements will not be forgotten. The legacy will live on for generations together with the names of Tony Blair and Gordon Brown. What had made the last 13 years of the Labour government so extraordinary in the history of British politics are not entirely your domestic achievements. No, what really established Labour as the beacon of progress in the family of European Social Democrats are all your international achievements and your international engagement. Your strong conviction for cross-border cooperation and how we need to put into work for a fairer world. When generation after generation said that peace could never come to Northern Ireland, you said, no, peace can come to Northern Ireland. And the rest of the world watched you in awe when you made that happen. And that achievement alone sets out Tony Blair as one of the great Prime Ministers of your history. And when the financial system was about to crack, the Labour government infused new trust. When bankers thought that they could go from bust to boom, backed by taxpayers, you set new standards for responsibility. And when the CEOs were about to give themselves £1 million bonuses just for showing up to work, you said no. And when the world was in confusion during the climate summit in Copenhagen, you provided clarity. And when leaders from the most affluent countries in history thought they could let people in the developing world pay the crisis bill, you told them to behave. And that, friends, is why we need a strong Labour. And that is why the service of Gordon Brown has been indisputable, crucial and outstanding. Dear Gordon, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your hard work and your endless commitment. We miss you. We miss you in Europe. We miss Labour's strong and clear voice in Europe. Because since Gordon's departure from office, I have followed and engaged in the EU debate about what should be happening now, about the economy. And oh, how we have missed your insight and your capacity. Of course, there will be a lot of opponents here in Britain who would like to say that the economic crisis was made in Britain, but we know that that is nonsense. We know that without the strength and leadership that Gordon Brown showed in a time of difficulty, things would have been far worse off in this country. And what we need in Europe right now is a safe pair of hands, because things are looking very bad. The crisis has hit hard, the pain is real and severe. the last couple of years, we have witnessed a drop in European GDP of 5%. I repeat, 5%. In Denmark, for example, this is the most severe cut since World War II. In countries like Ireland, Greece, Spain, the crisis is actually threatening social stability now. Unemployment in Europe is on the rise. In Euro countries alone, the rise has been from 7 to 10%. And let's never forget that each one of these percentages represents millions of people. Each percent represents a story of thousands and thousands of broken homes and families. It is a story of small shops and small businesses struggling to survive. All across Europe, youth unemployment is on dramatic increase. Young people who have been told to get a job are struggling and are standing in a queue to get a job. There was a time when Europe was hit hard like this. Last time the Euro economy was in constant peril was when Ed and I were young in the 80s. Back then we saw a generation that was left behind because politicians didn't notice them. They were left to struggle for themselves. And our pledge today is this must not happen again. And that is why the Social Democrats always have a deep commitment to a strong and a competitive economy. It is very simple for us. Without growth, no new jobs. Without jobs, no funding for welfare and education. And without welfare and education, fortune and family will be more important than hard work and talent. This is why we care more about the economy than anyone else does. The Conservative also cares, so they say. They say they have a magic formula right now. They say it is time to lay off teachers and nurses. They say it is time to cut unemployment benefits. They said it is now we roll back investment in research and development. They say that growth will only return if we give unfunded tax cuts to the very rich and when wages go down for the working people. And they say the same thing all over Europe. And do you know why they say that? That is the reason why they say that is how you think when you are a Conservative. Abundance for the few, big favours for big business, and poor welfare for poor people. Speaking here today, I am following in some enormous footsteps, not least Bill Clinton's, who spoke to you some years ago. And many of you will probably have been in this room when he warned you of those two words, compassionate conservatism. There is only one, he said, that really matters of those two words and always carries the day for its believers, and that is conservatism. And we know the conservative recipe, and we know that it is wrong. And we can see now that for the right wing, this economic crisis is a lifetime chance to turn back time. Look at Ireland. Look at Ireland. They have implemented harsh austerity measures over the last 12 months. And what has happened today? Ireland has now gone from bad to worse. Look at your government here in Britain. The Conservative governments all over Europe have decided upon the most counterproductive fiscal measures of our time. They think it is wisdom to contract the European economy with 4% the next 3 years. But we know that the consequence of these austerity measures will be profound. 6 million jobs will be lost. More families and homes will break. More dreams will be shattered. A generation will surely be left behind. And our pledge is simple. We will not let this happen. We will fight each and every election throughout Europe to ensure that progress will benefit all and not only the powerful few. But we also have to be straight talking about the need for change. Because change is not only inevitable, it is what creates new wealth and new welfare. Social democrats all over the world embrace change. And when the conservatives all over the world tell us to wait for better times, we say, let's make better times happen, not just wait. Because we know that politics makes a difference. We have to give people new hope and reason to believe in the future again. And that is why the single most important objective for all social democrats is to bring Europe back to work and bring growth back to Europe. It is time now. It is just this time that we should invest in green technology. Let's make Europe a green champion. It is in time to invest in infrastructure. Let's connect the cities and regions in Europe and get that growth going. But first and last, friends, it is time to invest in people. It is now, when people are laid off, that they should be given a chance to acquire new competences, and we should help them to do so. People who are out of a job, they don't ask for handouts. They don't ask for handouts. No, what they ask for is a firm handshake and a firm commitment. We should give that to them. And we will also commit ourselves to listen to business. We will recognize the role of business. We always have done. We need strong businesses. The creed of entrepreneurship is a precondition for a healthy economy, for a vibrant and strong economy. But I think business in Europe needs a new partner, because the old friends of the right are crippling the economy. They will not bring growth and stability to our economies, to our companies, to our shopkeepers, to our small family firms. They will only bring instability and insecurity. We want a dialogue with business. We want a new deal. And it runs like this New Deal. We will create the most competitive region in the world, where social security and the dynamism of capitalism go hand in hand. This is our aim. But to do that, I have to say that business in Europe will need to reconsider its role. Business in Europe will need to act as a responsible and accountable partner. Milton Friedman once said that the business of business is business. Today we know that the business of business must go hand in hand with the business of society. Friends, all over Europe, social democrats are struggling to replace orthodoxies of conservatism with ideas of social justice and progress. The Conservatives claim that we can only succeed in Europe if we dismantle our welfare society. Today, here in Manchester, at this Labour Party conference, we say it loud and clear. There is only one way forward for Europe, and that is forward in fairness. Friends, this conference matters because this party matters. And do never underestimate how important you are to the rest of us out there in Europe, and maybe perhaps to the rest of the world. Do not underestimate your leadership in the debates about the future of social democracy. And take pride in the pride we took, sister parties all around the world, in the success you had and the way you shaped this country for better years during the recent years. But of course, everyone knows it in this room, new challenges are facing you. And as I look at you today, as I listen to your debate, and as I feel you unite around your new leader, I feel confident that you will meet our expectations. I wish you the best luck in the world. Your country needs you, and so do other countries around the world. Dear Ed, you are a privileged man to lead this party, and I'm absolutely confident that you will bear this privilege with dignity and determination. Thank you very much.